Welcome. This is the Hot Coffee Investor. It's been a while since I've made another video, but I figured I'd make one today since we got a new subscriber and I want him to enjoy the channel. So some updates. Last month was pretty abysmal. Lost just under 10,000, I think. Let me confirm that. Actually, I didn't actually confirm it. Last 31 days. Yeah, so 8,267.94. Made some bad decisions, but that's par for the course. You can tell I'm not really bothered by it. Um, After a while, you just get numb to sometimes making bad decisions. This month, however, this week, however, we are looking at over 600 so far. Last week was about 1,100. Um, Not really. I haven't made any bad trades or made any bad positions in a while, other than Intel. Intel's just been crushing me into oblivion, although it's starting to improve over the last 2 days. Well, yesterday it was improving, that it wasn't, because yesterday was just a seesaw of wonders in the stock market, if anyone saw it. Going during Powell, and then going into the close, it just gave it all back. But this morning it's back up, so who knows what it's going to do today. Um, so I have 256 shares of Intel at $36.18 as my average. It's currently at pre-market $30.81, so not great. It's pretty terrible. Negative, wow. Today it's up 44 cents, so let's say $90 more, so $1,396 negative on that. But I'm selling covered calls on it every week, so I'm gradually making money back. It's what I've been doing with the position the whole time. So that was the whole point of it, was to sell covered calls, because the premium's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Um, I actually had Snap pre-earnings, which not because I expected it to go up like this or anything, or for them to even have good earnings. I wasn't expecting them to have good earnings. I was expecting them to be miserable. But I figured the risk reward, because the premium on the covered call on that was so high. It was for 1 week. Actually, I think it was less than a week. It was $106 for a covered call on, at the time, an $11.80 stock. Or I think at the time it was $11.75 or 70 cents or something like that. So insane premium for 1 week. So that was almost not. I was like 9%, a little over 9%, or 8.8% or something like that after fees. You can't turn down 8.8% on an investment in a week. You just can't. So I figured, well, worst case scenario, it moves down $1 or something, and I make $6, and I sell the shares, and it is what it is, and I still made money even if I lost money on the shares. So I didn't picture it doing what it did, which was is currently sitting over 33.89%. So I currently have a covered call on it. It's going to expire in the money Friday, I'm pretty certain, unless we get a massive dump in share price on Friday. It's a $15 covered call. Sold that for $51. Pretty sure it's going to close over $15, but I'm still going to keep the $51 that I received for the contract, and I'll make $335 or something like that. Because I have over 100 shares. I have 111. I always try and buy more than 100 when I do a cover call, just so I still have some at a decent price if it turns out to be a decent price. Um, and then I bought SoFi after earnings, which the shares are almost positive on. Sold cover calls on that. That's paying 1% a week right now. You know, which is 52% a year off the investment. So, who doesn't want to make 52% or try to? And then I have some Tesla puts for earnings. Those didn't fare well, but they are improving. I bought one going into earnings and started adding as it's been coming back down from 190. So I have 6 of them now. Cost basis 647.08, currently worth 198. So nothing fabulous, nothing great, but eventually I feel that I'll be right on that one. So sorry. And sorry I'm looking so scruffy. I haven't been shaving lately. I got injured, and it's my right arm, and I use my right arm to shave. So I hurt my shoulder. So it's hard to move my arm up this way, but it's getting better. That's why I'm crossing my arms. It takes some of the relief off of it. Today I'm planning on trading the S&P 500, as I've been doing for the last week and a half. Over almost 2 weeks actually, so I'm a little off on that. I'm planning on doing calls expiring June 21st for, I think the strike price is going to be $5.15. I'm going to buy 8 of them. 4, and then depending upon where it goes, another 4. But the plan is to have 8. Not going to hold it over the weekend. May hold it through into tomorrow. It depends how the market behaves today. But time decay on SPY calls are pretty severe compared to other stocks where you got to make up like 50 cents. Usually by the next day it has to be up $1, $1.50 for you to break even from where it was the previous day. So unless you're in the money, then the time decay is like, I think 45 cents or close to it. That's usually the average when it comes to SPY. That's the plan for today. As far as AMD goes, I hate to be the guy that says I told you so. I still think it's a $40 company. But it's down, nearly $80 from its high in a matter of like a month or two. I don't even know how or why it got to 220 something. And I feel bad for whoever brought it up to there and is still in it. The earnings was better than I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to be much worse. However, it still wasn't good. So I think it's only going to continue down from here. I still think that. I don't have any skin in the game on it. But I just don't think anyone should touch it. The covered call premium on it's great, but I'm still not touching it because it's just a losing proposition, I feel right now. I feel like it's just going to keep going down. And that's where it's headed. It's going at least back to 80. I think it's going back to 80 or 90. Because even then it's overvalued. Way overvalued. I don't see the value in it. I don't see it. So, NVIDIA, on the other hand, totally different business model than AMD has. It's still overvalued, but not nearly as much. Look at the PE ratio, but they're going to have earnings soon, so we'll see how that pans out. Other than that, so the account's currently sitting after those losses at 18,000. I mean, it's going to be higher at market open, so I'm not exactly sure the exact number, but as of the close of yesterday, the brokerage account is at 18,465.73. I have been paying myself every day because that's how I make my living. So it's by trading. So I haven't really added any value to the account because I've been withdrawing all the money to pay bills. Well, I don't have many bills. So everything's pretty much paid for at this point. That's the great thing about trading is, you only have to be right, very good. You don't, well, that was poor grammar. You only have to be right, very right, only a few times to really just crush it. And then as long as but you don't want to buy into that move, you want to have already been in it. You can capitalize on the move, that's fine. But, already being in it's really where the money's made. So, hence with Snap, yeah, it's moved up, 30-something%, which is great. I mean, who doesn't want to make 30% in a year, on anything? It's wonderful. I mean, everyone gets all excited when they see 100% moves, and I'm like, how many companies are, really deserve that? So, I'm happy when I see a 5% move overall in the account. 5%, great. I'll move on and find something else and then do 5% again. That's how I do it. I'll see where I think I can make 5%. And I'll like buy a few things so I can be wrong on this one and right on this one. And so I'll be wrong like 2% here, right 7% there, 8% here, 3% positive here, and 10% here. And the average is this. And then I sell everything and rinse and repeat. And that's how I do it for the most part. You know, I think that's the best way to do it. You sell your losers, you sell your winners, you don't sell all of your winners, you sell most of it and keep a little bit, just to see where it goes. It could keep going. But you take some positive net gain risk off the table to it coming back down a little bit after the fervor dies down, like AMD, you know. That would have been great if I hope a lot of people got out at that price. I really hope not too many people got really hurt. Because $80 a share is pretty extreme. In a matter, for how much the company's worth, that's a lot, guys. That's a lot. Um, the Roth account's doing okay. It's positive for the year. I did start. I haven't owned Google in a while. I did start adding Google, so I started a position in the Roth because now they're paying quarterly dividends apparently. We'll see if it's really quarterly or if they just say it's quarterly and recurring quarterly dividend. It's not much, but it is what it is, and I wouldn't mind owning it now. I'm actually surprised that GOOGL and GOOG are both paying the dividend when one's a voting rights share and one isn't. I was expecting one of them not to pay anything, but they both are. And then I added more JPI. I added a new position again because I had it before, but I got rid of it in JPQ before the last downturn happened. And then I started adding back into it now that it's kind of rolling back up slowly. And then I have Pfizer, which has been a dog on my Roth this whole time, which is finally turning around. But I've been collecting dividends on it. It's a heck of a dividend yield at 6 point something percent. I don't know what it is now based off the current price. But I've been selling covered calls on it every week, all the way down. So it's been generating me cash every week in my Roth, which is tax-free. And I'm using that money to buy shares in other companies because it's a Roth. I can't exactly withdraw the money. And then I'm taking the dividends and I'm putting that into other things. I'm not putting it into Pfizer. I already have Pfizer. And I still think it's, probably, some of the expectations for value are pretty lofty. I think it might go up to $32, And once it hits $32, I'm out. And I'll move on to something else that I can use that money towards. That's the plan with Pfizer. $32, I'm out. I've had it for, when did I buy Pfizer? It's been quite a while. I started buying it in, it looks like December 2023, so it's been a little bit, not too long. But it's went from being negative like 11%, 12% to now negative 6.87%, which is about the yearly dividend rate that it pays right now. And if you don't include the weekly covered calls, every week it's paying me about $5, $7, until once it gets closer to my price, I'm going to go closer to in the money, which will then drive the the premium up. So that's the plan. That's the plan of action with Pfizer. Plan with Intel is to keep selling cover calls till it turns around. I think Intel will be okay. I know a lot of people don't. I don't really care if it happens right now. Um, I don't plan on adding any more shares, although if I really believe in the position, you'd think, oh, well, it's cheaper now, so, if you like it up here, you should like it down here. And while that's usually the case, it's a very long-winded trade. I think Intel's worth 45, $50 in 3 to 5 years. Hold on, I got something on my screen. There we go. So I think Intel will be okay. It's about $5.40 away from my break-even price per share at the moment. But I think it'll be okay. The other down draw was iBit. I bought iBit expecting them to get options approval because it's such a big mover. I wanted to sell cover calls on it. That's really the whole point of me having owned iBit. I had it when it was at, I think it was like $24 or something like that. Rode it all the way to 30. Sold at 30. Wish I kept it longer, obviously, because they got, to 40 something. Bought back in at I think 37 or 38 or something like that. And then it went all the way down and it just milked me dry. I think I had 200 shares. It was a poor decision, and the only person I can blame is myself. And anytime you or anyone you know makes a bad investment, it's not anyone else's fault but themselves. And they have to blame themselves. Even if the data's fake. Even if, you're getting convinced to buy stuff, which I'm not trying to do, buy specific stocks. Anytime you do something like that, it's your fault. It sucks, but you gotta hold yourself accountable. I can't talk. It's early. You gotta hold yourself accountable. So, I hold myself accountable for everything that happens to me. You just have to do it. So, because the reality is you're right or you're wrong. So, on that note, hope everyone has a very fortunate day. I did tell you what I was trading today. Not immediately at the open. Please don't do that. Although that's where all the money can be made, but it can also be lost. I like seeing some movement first. So I'll wait a little bit and then make my trade. So, hope everyone has good fortune. None of this has been financial advice. That's just what I'm doing myself at the moment. And if you want to follow that, that's up to you. I'm not making any recommendations, just what I see at the moment. And hope everyone has a good day.